So we're back with part 2 of this live repair here, and during the break I've managed to find out what I was doing wrong with the clips to get the actual display, the ribbon cable for this display to actually come out. Part 1 is the fact that I didn't read instruction correctly. So if I just recap on that instruction there, you would be able to see, let me just bring this up here. So I think it's in this one here. Yeah. So where I was going wrong was when you read the instruction carefully, it says about these two clips, and you only need to be able to peel back enough of the tape to be able to access the black retaining clips, which I did do. And it says use a fingernail or small screwdriver, which is what I got here. And you can then move each clip in the direction shown by the green arrow. Now, the green arrow on this diagram here shows that you need to be going in an up direction. So that's exactly where I was going wrong. I didn't read that instruction that very, very carefully. So what I was trying to do was actually prise these two clips out of the way by going sideways or inwards, because that's what I thought, looking at the pink arrows, thinking, oh, I just have to press them in and then pull the ribbon out. But that certainly was not the case. I had to then just basically pull these two clips up, and then the ribbon actually released itself. So here you can now see the ribbon is now free and clear. So that is now that stage out of the way. So the next stage is to unscrew 4 screws, which is highlighted here now in purple, and this is where we get the display, or access to the display that's currently there, the faulty display. So let's do that then. So we get the old screwdriver again, but this time I need to get my screwdriver with the smaller tip on it, because I don't actually believe that this one actually has any control. I can't actually get any grip on those screws there. So I will need to refer back to my toolkit here, and I will try now to see if I can release with a bit of force. There we go. The screws here. So that one's moving. Let me just try and see if I can move the other one. That's screw 1. Screw 2 is now moving. Screw 3. Oh, that one's in tight, but it's now moving. See the force in me there. Luke, the force is with you. And let's move now into the 4th and final screw, which again is in quite tight, but it's now moving. Right, so we're just now unscrew these 4 screws so that now they are still there, but not fully out of the holes yet. Just loose enough, there we go, for me to be able to, there we go, prise that plastic out. There we go. Right, so in theory now I should just be able to, there we go, lift the screws out. So I'll pop those to one side along with the other screws that I took out earlier on before the start of the repair. There we go, got a grip on that one. Now those might be a little bit tricky to get back in, but we'll try that in a while. Still conscious of this blue wire here, which is the control for the snooze handle. There we go. Right, let's see if we can lift up this plastic, and it's sticking. I can feel it sticking. It's giving. Here it comes. Yep. Then we just got to do the other side. It's coming. It's moving. I just get my finger over there and prise that out gently. Ooh, you can see from my facial expression that that one is deciding not to move. Come on, sunshine. You can do it. Now, I think there's a rubber seal around that. Just check that. Yeah. Now, why is there a rubber seal? I hope that's not going to cause a problem. Now I can hear. There we go. Perfect. We got it. And here now we have, out of the case, the faulty display. It's a beautiful looking display. But why is it these things fail on us in these radios? Really don't know. Anyway, I can see that there's some finger marks, so that's probably coming from just beneath this. Yeah, there you go. So it's coming from underneath. So I've got to make sure that I try and keep this area clear of dust now. So we need to make sure that we are keeping the area clean, dust free as much as we can. Now, we need to do something with this because we need to be able to take all of this out and replace it with the new board. So let's look at the next step on the instructions. And there is a silver coloured ribbon apparently, which we now next need to remove. And if you take a look at the board here, this here, let me just see if I can bring me back up here. There we go. Oh, back there. So this area here that I am not highlighting. Oh, this is all good, isn't it? Let me bring the overhead cam back up here. There we go. So this area here is where next we need to remove this ribbon cable. Now, earlier on we was a bit gentle to try and remove this masking tape around this area here. But as I was doing that, I could feel myself pulling at what feels like a capacitor, but it's not. It's just a connector basically, but it is soldered onto the board. So in order for me to get hold of this ribbon, I need to somehow prise it out of the connector. So the instruction here says that there is a silver coloured ribbon directly below the orange one that you now have to disconnect. This also needs to be unplugged from the circuit board, as we will need to connect it to our new board. It's circled in blue in the instructions. Sometimes it's been stuck down or folded with some hot glue. This should come off with gentle finger pressure. So let's just do that then. The cable just pulls out and out from the connector. So let's just see. I'm just gently doing this. I can feel movement in the ribbon. There we go. And that came out quite easily. So this ribbon now is required for the new board. So this board here will stay inside the radio, but we will no longer need to connect anything to it. So we leave it there. And the reason why that needs to stay in there is because you've got the potentiometers in there also as well. Now I'm just going to give a quick blow. In fact, I might get my trusty can of spray out here, because I can see that there is a little bit of dirt around the area where the new screen will go. Okay, so we put that to one side. A can of compressed air there. The last thing I want to do is make is have the new screen go in, and then we'll find we've got dirt everywhere. There's a little bit of residue left over from the rubber seal, so I'm just going to take this out. I'm just going to get my little one here and prise it out as if I was doing some cooking. Here we go. And if I just get hold of it here, nearly there. There we go. And that blob of dirt is now out. say it's dirt. It's not really dirt. Let me just try and get that back in focus. There you go. See that? So just pop that blob to one side there. Right, so next on the instructions. So the cable just pulls out from the connector as we have just done. So now we need to prepare to install the new display. So we now need to gently separate the old faulty display from the plastic case. So how we do that now falls down to me just trying to somehow prise it away from the plastic, and you can see that it's moving quite nicely now. Again, it is stuck down. There we go. I can see the circuitry beneath, which is coming away quite neatly. You can hear that. There we go. So if I just peel that back, there we go. So there's the old display now about to be removed. Just peel that back. Now there's a piece of metal or something there, so yeah, that's glued in. Okay. See if we can peel this back somehow. I wonder if that was there to, this piece of metal is like a magnet. I wonder if it was there to try and stop interference back to the screen. Electrical interference. There we go. So the faulty screen is now off. Ta-da! Screen is there. We just pop that to one side. We know that's the faulty one. And we are left now with our plastic cover. I'll just pop that through there because we need next to feed through our new board. So it says, if need be, you might want to clean the clear plastic window display that sits beneath. Well, we've done that already, just to make sure that there's no dust or fluff. A cotton bud or similar dipped in meths, obviously, and is another way to dry it off, and is ideal for this. So try not to disturb the adhesive around the edge of the window. So we'll leave that as is. That hasn't been disturbed in any way, as this will help you hold your new screen in place. So we need to peel off the foam back sticky tape from the back of the display. For that, I believe it's referring to the updated version. We'll just pop that down there. So we get the new display and we peel off. I just remember which way this went round. That way. That way. Yeah. So it needs to peel off these two tabs here, because that is what we're going to use next to stick it to our plastic cover. Just tapes away. We're doing all right so far, I think. And we just peel that back there. Oh, this one's not coming off. Oh, there we go. Okay. Right, so remember it said top. So this is the top of the radio facing me in this direction. So I need to make sure now that I flip this over, so in theory the screen is that way round. And remember that we took it out from this way. So we should feed through. If I just make another incision here. There we go. We just feed this through like so. A bit tricky, but it gets there. And through that comes. And remembering the direction that the screen was in, we should now be able to get the screen perfectly into position. And what is making that stick there? So I believe I've got a tiny bit of residue left over from the last bit of sticky. So now, like a CPU, it actually does have some lines of which helps you line up the screen. If I push that flush against that edge there, and I should be able to now do the same with the other side to get that to... Oh, this is really sticking now. Whoa. I'll watch myself now. Don't want this to fall out of place. Whoa. Whoa. That's in. That ain't going nowhere. That is in. Just check that's... Yeah, we've got to be very, very careful here because you can crack the screen. Don't want that to happen at this very delicate stage. In theory now, my screen is in position. So it says use the word top written on the back of the display to make sure that you align the display correctly. So we have done that. So remembering that the word top is now facing this side here, pointing up towards me now. And in theory, we should be able to now put that back in. So center the display on the bracket. The corners of the display will align with the little plastic lugs on each side. So that's managed to happen now. And that fits quite nicely. So when I screw that down, that should fit nice and snug. Perfect. Now, I have got some residue left over from the previous stickies. Let me find my very thin screwdriver and I'll try and see if I can just gently clear that away without ruining the display. You can hear that coming away. There we go. If I just push it down, there we go. And the reason why that has to be like that is so that it doesn't obstruct the display in any way. Right, remembering we've still got that screen protector on there, so if you do get your fingers over it, don't worry at this stage because you will be peeling that off in a moment. So we need to center the display on the bracket as we've done. Don't press too hard because the screen will crack. And it won't be completely flush with the bracket as we've just seen here. But it's in enough just that it securely holds it in place by the foam tape. So now you should be left with an assembly that should look like this. If I transition over there we go. And that's how it should look. And if I now show you how I've got mine. So remember how that looks. So they've got the two screws facing upwards on the top of the bracket. And for me, at the moment, I'm round the wrong way. Well, in fact, I'm round the right way, actually. Yes, because the bracket... Yes, that's correct. Because the bracket needs to go that way. So that's right. So remember what it looked like on the instruction. Like that. It should look like that. With now the piece of ribbon dangling out. That's how we are now. With the piece of ribbon dangling out. Now I don't need to pull on that because that's now fully out. and ready for us to use. In theory, this piece of ribbon should be long enough to sit on our new board. So the next step in the instructions say to gently remove the protective film from the front of the display and then lower the display and the bracket in place in the recess behind the front panel of the radio. So let's just do that now. So we just remove gently the screen protection. And I say gently because if I do it too quickly, I'm likely to have a splashback of dust that will statically stick to my new display. There we go, that's done. So just to show you quickly, nice new shiny display. But now we're going to place back into position where we found the previous. I'm going to go in sideways and just gently drop it back into place. There we go. And I'm pressing gently, not hard, and making sure that the screws are lined up, which they are. Now you see how easy that was? I have just replaced the display, but I haven't replaced the board yet. So now it says secure it in place using the lower 2 screws. So for that, I take 1 screw, pop it in. It says the lower. So we screw that into place there. There we go, that's in. And we do the other one, which I knew I was going to lose just then. I could feel it going. Thankfully, I've got a bit of magnetization on this screwdriver. Yeah, oops. Yeah, not much though. Keep losing it. Yeah, I just need to grab it. Come on. No. Gotcha. Now, part wonder if that was being interfered by the speaker magnet. Right, I'm grabbing hold of this now and gently prising that back into the hole here, and it's in. And screw that back down. I'm only going to hand tight them at the moment. Here we go. So that display is now in, and we have here the ribbon cable waiting to be connected to the board. Now, the reason why we have not put the screws in the top part yet is because that'll be required for the board. Here, you can see we've got the 2 holes, and they will, believe it or not, match perfectly with. Now, if I just pop this here without doing anything, and I just hold it gently over that hole, that seats perfectly into position. Perfectly. Perfectly. Okay, so now then, the board won't go this way round. So at the moment, this ribbon seems to be too short. But that's on the basis that you think it was going to go over and then seat over the top of the circuitry. No, that won't happen because the board will actually sit like so. So the cable can be fed from underneath, and it will just fit in there nice and snug. So the next stage on the instructions are to now connect the screen using the supplied circuit board. So what we're going to do now is use this ribbon, and we are going to seat it in with LN connection. There you can see it. Not input. What is it? LCD connect. You see that? That top one there. So that's where this ribbon is going to connect now. So the picture now shows that I need to connect it like so. So I'm going to just turn the board around and make sure that I have a perfect connection. So that now needs to seat inside. So we need now to be able to pull back the black connector here. So it's up in the up position. Did you see that? Yep. And now we need to seat LCD Con 1 ribbon into that connection there. So let me just do that now. This is quite a fiddly job. But once that's in position, I should then be able to make sure that all the pins connect okay. So let me just check that the other side. Ah, yes, of course. Yes, now one thing I need to point out is that the board here is around the wrong way. So I need to make sure that this ribbon is using the darker side to connect to the up position. So I just need to twist the board around, and it's going to be quite tricky because I am doing this upside down, remember? And I don't know if you can see, but I'm just going to prise that into this LCD connect there. I can feel that that now is nicely connected and snug, so I'm going to put the black clip down. If it will go, I can feel that moving. I need to hold the ribbon in place, don't move, and pull that clip into the down position. There we go. Whoa, that was tricky. So I can now feel I've got some tension there, and that is nice and snug. I'm only just gently pulling that. I'm not pulling it too hard. So remembering what I was saying about the board, and what will happen next is it will basically seat in this position once we're done. But we're not done yet. Because remember, we still have this ribbon that we need to connect next to input Con 1. Now for this, the black clip that's in there pulls forward. So let me just pull that forward to unlock it. And what it just says in the instructions now, making sure I get the connectivity right, is for the blue tab to be facing upwards. So remembering how it was on the old board with the blue tab facing up, this one we need to twist it slightly, and because of the position of the connectors, which I can see is there, yeah, that's the reason why it's saying put the blue at the top. So let me just slide this into place now with the clip as it was. If this doesn't go, then we've got a bit of a problem on our hands, but I'm just pushing that through, holding that there with my fingernail. I push the ribbon into place. Try not to destroy our handiwork so far. That's gone in now. That is in place very neatly. And if I just now clip down the black clip, there we go. So that now is not moving anywhere. So provided that we haven't got any further damage done to the board or the ribbon, we should now be in a position to slowly prise this board into place. Now I'm going to just move this around slightly to give me a bit more leeway on the cable. Remember, I'm doing this upside down so you can see it the right way around on camera. And in theory, I should now be able to just hold that into position there and use the last of the 2 screws. Now this is going to be quite tricky because I've got to be able to try and do this one-handed. So let me see if there's any way I can somehow get the first one started before we screw in the final one. Through the hole we go. Don't want to lose you. Come on, screw. There we go. And I'm going to just start you off. There we go. That's you started on pin 1. And I'm going to try now next to screw you down on pin 2. I screw that down and tight now. Yeah, there's a bit of movement, but not too much. Should now be able to get this screw here. And now, whoops, see, that's going to happen now. I wonder if I put that on the speaker, if I can somehow magnetize that again. See if that worked. Yep, there's a bit more power on that one. Okay. Quiet in the room. I can't see that. And that went in nice and easy. So that board is now in place. So provided we have done what we need to do, we should now be in a position to be able to put all of this back together again. So let's just take one final check of the instructions. And we have now done the connectivity to input con 1. Once the cable is firmly inserted, you should then be able to obviously flip the board over as I've done here. And it should look like so. And then we can screw it in using the 2 screws, which we have done. Now, is that in tight enough? I think so. I'm just going now to tighten up those 2 bottom screws on the screen that I only did hand tight, and make sure that the board is in there, that position there. Right, so one final check now here is now everything ready to go. So remember what you saw? That's how it looks in the instruction manual. And this is how it looks with me. We've done it. We have replaced the display and we have now putting a new board which will control that display. No longer is this board here controlling this display. So if at any point again the display goes wrong, hopefully not, I'm hopeful I'll get another 10 years use out of this. We should be able to replace this board quite nicely. So let's scroll down again. So now you can reassemble the radio, the 2 halves of the radio, of course. Check both that the ribbon cables between the 2 halves of the radio are still snugly inserted, which they are nicely. Okay, so the only other thing for me to next do is to now bring back my radio here. Now remember I did prise that snooze cable out of my way, but that doesn't seem to be getting in anybody's way so far. I'm going to put the board back, but I won't screw it down just yet. But first, I need to make sure that I re-plug back the speaker that I undone a bit earlier on. So back to the board. Can you see there that we've got one empty connector? That is where our speaker needs to go. So let's grab this connector here and we will plug it back into that empty connector. over here. So if I just come through. Now, this is a bit tricky. I'm going to have to take this off camera slightly, I think, because I need to be able to get to it. So let me just twist that around. I'll be back there in a second. You might still be able to see what I'm doing. We have got a bit of a loose trailing cable here, but that's not too loose that it's going to cause the radio to fail in any way. Let's just now see how well this connector plugs back into the radio, which I believe goes in that way. Just put that back in there. 3, 2, 1. Prise that back in there, making sure that we've got the positive and the negative in the correct channels. That's clipped in quite nicely. You can see now that the speaker cable is back into position. So next, we should now be able to just pop the radio back together again. And if I remember rightly, there was a bit of an obstruction when we got the radio out to begin with, so we need to make sure that we go in the same direction that we did at an angle. Yep, because there's a clip here. You want to make sure that you get the circuit board under that. And that's what we're doing now. In it goes. Something is obstructing me at this moment in time. I don't know what, but it's moving nicely now. There we go. Push that back into place. And just to make it secure, I'm going to pop in a screw at the top. And another at the bottom. And in theory, what appears to have been an hour's job on this live stream really should take me 10 minutes if I was doing all the others, or any other radios. So before I put any other screws in fact I might just put another one in the bottom there to make it secure. There we go. Yeah, I think I'll do one more at the top as well. We can do the other two after we've tested the unit. There we go. So here we have the unit back together again in one piece. Just give that a brush down. There we go. It seats quite nicely still on my unit here. Here we go. I'll give it a proper full polish when we are complete. I reckon the antenna's been replaced on this, you know, because it looks brand new. Either that or this unit's been sitting in a box for a long time, I don't know. But anyway, here we are. Display's replaced. I think rather annoyingly I can see a bit of dirt and dust has got in there, but that's not too much for me to worry about at this stage. If it bothers me that much, then I will open the unit up again and give it a full clean, but it's going to me, not another customer. Right, let's get some power into this thing. Where are you, power? There you go. Let's get the adapter. Let's put this 6-volt supply in. Let's get some lights going. I'm very hopeful this time. Don't forget it takes about 30 seconds to boot up. It doesn't boot. Whoa, we've got a display. Yes. This is why it takes so long. Ah, see, it's been on the auxiliary all that time. Right, now then we go to options, and we should now be able to get back and choose the service. Let's see if we can get... Yay! And the radio is working. Let's see if we can get old radio 2 up. Oopsie daisy. There we go. No, I want manual, not seek. Oh, I know why. The antennas aren't up for starters. Just pull this up here. There we go. FM signal's not going to be that great. Now you're getting some flickering on my screen right now because this is an OLED display and obviously it doesn't like the camera. But with my naked eye, I cannot see any flickering whatsoever. There's radio 3 on FM. So let me go back to options, back. And can I get a DAB signal where I am? Let's try digital radio. So station's not available because wherever this radio has been previously, it's not been tuned into my area. So let me go into options and we scroll down to digital radio settings, pressing select, and we go into auto tune. And then we'll see now how many stations this can find. Probably not many, but so far so good. And that's going to go through all of our local multiplexes now. It should be, at least. We should see it jump in a minute. This is doing the European band on DAB. In fact, if this is not working as expected, I know that I can do a manual tune, so I'm just going to cancel that one out. And if I go back, and if I go options again, and I'll do a digital radio, and I'll do a where are we? Station list station. I don't want to do auto tune actually. This should be able to manual tune this as well. Additional settings. Oh, did you hear that? Okay, so we've got some music coming through now. It sounds to me like it has done some tuning nicely. What do we got? There's Radio 2 on BBC. Excellent. And this symbol means it's receiving a stereo signal, by the way. This is my digital radio. I'm on volume setting 1 here. And let me just see if I just now look through the... If I go into Radio 3, we should have some BBC proms coming through. We're burbling because I've not really got that great signal and I'm getting interference from my PC. But, you know, look at this. I mean, hey, blooming presto. We got the display replaced and it works perfectly. I am so pleased with that little project there. So let's now just leave that to one side. I will just press and hold down the button there and press OK to shut that down. Hello. Bear in mind I'm doing this upside down here. There we go, shutting off. There we go. And once the display goes into standby, I should be able to press the snooze handle. And we just check that the snooze handle's now working. Remember that blue cable that was, excuse me, that blue cable that we saw that I prized out of the way? That was accessing the snooze handle. It could be that the user, the last owner of this radio, has the display on permanently. I hope they don't, because seriously, that's probably what caused the display to go wrong in the first place. But let's hopeful that it is not the case, but we'll wait and see with that one there. Alright, looks like that they've set that up on a permanent display. So yeah, I'll check that the snooze handle works in a few moments there. But hey, we're really impressed by that. So thank you very much indeed again to David Pye for the replacement display and the board. David, I'm very, very pleased, and I will be recommending you to further people that I meet that obviously own these radios and have issues with the display board. So yeah, it took me just under an hour to do on this live stream, but in theory, you know, I know what I'm doing next time round. I'll be able to replace that display in the space of 10 minutes. So basically, that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. Order another screen, and I will replace the display in my other radio, the one I showed you at the beginning of the stream earlier today. Thanks very much for joining us here. This has been Digital Robin with my own sort of repair project today. This has been to replace a faulty display on this Evoke Flow internet radio. So I'm going to go now and enter in my Wi-Fi details and see if I can tune into ABC Australia and listen out for their coronavirus updates, which is obviously due imminently soon. Thanks for joining us here today, and I will catch you again in another video and stream. Don't forget to like and smash that bell to obviously be notified when next I upload a video or go live. There's my Discord server as well, links in the description there, of course, and you can follow me on Twitter at RobinJust, and watch out for me on various Linux podcasts throughout the week, including Big Daddy Linux and also Steve's very own on Sunday afternoons. Until next time we meet, take care of yourselves, everybody. This has been Digital Robin, and I am signing out, ready to go and play with my newly repaired digital radio.